rather, do men blame women too much? Sometimes I think the word blame is synonymous with accountability. So, are we going to say that men make women take accountability too much? Right? So, let me just say this. Let me say this. I think that what may seem as blame toward women is men being vocal about women. And that is something that maybe a lot of women that probably are 40 years old have never had to deal with. What I can tell you is that every functional society on earth is just as strict on their women as they are on their men. And they have done it for so long that they don't have to be vocal about it. So it's something that we may have to be more persuasive, be more smooth about, but it's absolutely something the best men in the world who run functional societies do. They are extremely hard on their women. They are strict. They are unyielding when it comes to what they want to see in their society as it pertains to the first teachers of their children, the examples for their daughters, so on and so forth. If we look at it that way, um, that dude has some good points. He has some good points. All right, and the thing that I realize, every married man on the panel, sometimes we think about it. The one thing I won't do on YouTube no more, these type of things when in a certain context, it sounds like he's flexing. And I hate when men do that. It was like, if you a real man, you know, you get compliance out of woman. That's just like you're doing this very subtle, maybe not so subtle flex thing where I'm really tired of that, because just like Shan said earlier, there is something called the consent of the governed. And these men have done the men who have run great societies, what they have done is ostracized every non-compliant person out of their society, men and women included. So if we're going to talk ad nauseum all day on YouTube about how some men are terrible for society, how they're wrecking our homes, we have to understand that there's almost an equal amount of women doing the same thing. So it does start with our choice as men. If we want to create a functional society of women that will follow our leadership, that will teach our doctrine of discipline to our children, right? Then we have to, really understand that that comes with a certain level of accountability we have to give to them. Now, here's the other thing about blaming women. We cannot give women the right to vote. We cannot give them all the freedoms they have today. We cannot give them the opportunity to make law that directly affects us and then say we can't blame them for shit. That's not fair. It's not fair. It's not you can make a law to take my children away from me, but it's still all my fault. No way. No way. So this is a matter of perspective. It's not really a right or wrong to us, just a matter of perspective. And as men, we have the ultimate accountability for the progress of our society. And it starts firstly with the choice that we make in women, but it is also our responsibility to stay unyielding and strict so we can keep a functional society. But that's all I got on it.
So I'd be perplexed about the logic aspect, because logic would dictate the thing that we know to work or that works is what we go with to get it done. I may want to pull an engine with the hoist, but I can't get in there the right way. So I'll find another way to get that engine out as long as it works. My end goal is to pull the engine out of the car, not to do it in a specific way. I think this is a larger and deeper conversation, is the way traditional masculinity has morphed with the evolution of the working world. As far as strength isn't the prime indicator of payment at this point. So a lot of the things that traditionally would have put men in a position to excel in due to the advancements in technology and those things, it's a different skill set that we're requiring. We're kind of in a industrial sexual relationship revolution as far as what are marketable skills in this day and age. And I'm not trying to diminish and take away from the brother's perspective or experience, right? And I think sometimes even with that guy, I don't believe. So I disagree with you, Trigger Mike, when you said he was humble flexing. I think that it may come off that way. So all right, when you're talking to other people in your neighborhood about let's say the property taxes for your house, right? And you're like, man, these property taxes are killing me. I just paid $28,000 this year on property tax. That may come off like you're trying to humble flex on somebody when really you're just discussing what's going on in your life. And because I may not live in your subdivision and my taxes may be 4,000 or something, it may sound like you're flexing on me, and that's not my intention. You understand what I'm saying? I don't believe that was his intention, and I don't like when me and Clout was talking about the relationship thing. I don't.
But he wasn't complaining about his taxes, Marcus. He was saying, it's minus 28,000, but I don't have no problem paying it.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't complaining about his taxes. He was saying my taxes are good over here, and I make the money. And if you can't pay your taxes, that's on you.
Exactly. You wouldn't know nothing about this.
That's not what I heard. What I heard from him is maybe me saying he complained about taxes was a bad example. Another example would be let's see, something that would directly correlate to this.
Let me just interject real quick while you think about that. The reason why I'm going to lean on that was a subtle flex is because he was also in the video that preceded this video, and he has an incentive to pander to women in different ways. And that is he said most of his clients are women. So that is one of the key go-to things where it's like, I don't know what's wrong with these men. I mean, I'm doing it. I ain't got no problem with this.
He gave how many clients he had, and also that. So he's trying to let throw his shameless plug in there while he's trying to balance his argument, then also demean men with like a backhanded slap. But you know what? That's how I saw it. I can't tell Marcus or James how they saw it. But here's what I'm not going to have you telling me I'm deluded for seeing what I saw. And that's what went across there. And I'm going to do it in a calm voice because that really got me riled up because I listened with intent. And maybe your style of language, maybe I'm not catching. I'll concede that point. But you ain't going to tell me I ain't see a duck walk across the street.
Right. So I think it's fair to speak for me and James. We have no intention on denigrating anyone with that comment. Maybe the way our perspective sees that video, it's such a stark contrast that speaking from the way we view things, it can come off that way. So if we did in any way, that's not our intention. So that's we're not trying to offend y'all. That's what we're trying to do.
And I just want to say that
did some of the things in that video. So I agree with, because I lived that video where he was talking about some of the things I had to work on, and it helped me help my wife work on and help us have a good relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where he was coming from because I did it. So that's why I'm saying I'm not for sure of all the other brothers. I don't know y'all life like that, but I know my life. So that's why I was able to kind of agree with what he was saying.
So James, in all fairness, you cherry pick what hit home with you. And that's fair to say. You're allowed to do that. Everyone is allowed to have their perspective. But when he starts that, he did flex, and I'm going to stand on that. And then he's saying, and we reading the caption, men don't blame women too much. If a man calls out a woman, he's zesty, he's sassy, he's whatever metaphor they want to use him for, rather than correcting the position, hearing a man out, digesting it, seeing if it's valid, then dealing with it amicably. That's not happening more so or less today. That's all.
I think it's more of the YouTube stuff, because a lot of guys are having different conversations where they just blaming women for everything. So when people hear some of these panels and stuff like that, like I heard a panel that people was talking about, well, she let me go in raw, so that's her fault. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, like we got to take some accountability for the situation that we in. It was both of your guys' fault. You know what I'm saying?
But I think James just set it up for the next topic, man.
Yeah. Before we get into the next topic, I just want to shout out. This is now the car episode. I have heard the term solenoid, transmission, engine. All right, all used as analogies. And I have a special request There's somebody making an analogy out of the alternator, radiator, and bucket seats.
I have a teachable moment that I need. So maybe Kenny and Shannon
can. Not a solenoid. It's a solenoid.